Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to the Macabre Podcast Universe. We are the podcast that exists to prove people wrong when they say that sequels are never better than the originals. And if you're tuning in now, you should know that we are talking about the Jurassic Park series. And
What's
today,
the series called?
we are calling it the series that finds a way. We have
Great.
little cutesy titles that we name each series. And with us, we have two extraordinary guests that we've been so excited about leading up to that email that said, yes, we're going to do it. We have Nick Turner, who is a podcaster and comedian. We know him from Get Rich Nick. You might know him from some other stuff. And most people know him as the life of the party. And then we have Lyra Smith, who is a podcast producer. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Be here in my living room.
Yeah, I'm just I'm the life of the party in our living room. At a legit party, I might not get the title.
Right.
That's the best
Everything's
part.
a little different now.
Yeah, in quarantine, you can give yourself any nickname, any title, and it's the truth.
No one can argue with you.
Yeah, I was the Rat King for the first 2 weeks, but then I got rid of all the rats, and then there was no.
Oh, good.
The first couple weeks of quarantine, I think we were just the people that said no to everyone who didn't want to quarantine.
Yeah.
We were just
yeah,
the
that
knowers.
sounds about right. I think it continues that trend today.
Where are you?
We're in Southern Oregon, so
Oh, wow.
we live in Medford, Oregon. We're probably about a little over an hour from the California border.
Yeah, Medford.
Yeah.
So, would you say that there's some good panhandling near you? I mean, sorry, not panhandling. Of course, there's incredible panhandling in Oregon. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I've never seen panhandling like I've seen in Portland, where they just run. They run at you. It's very talented. But we were Nick and I were just discussing a gold panning episode, and apparently all the good gold panning is in Northern California.
So, and I believe Micah and I, we met basically in kindergarten and we're in school through high school together. So in second grade, Micah and I had the pleasure of going to Jacksonville, which is a very historic pioneer town in Oregon, where it's really well known for gold panning.
Yeah. I don't know if it still is, though.
No, of course not. But it was definitely an area.
Apparently, a lot
really
of the
famous.
gold got.
Definitely. And so basically it's now just a cute tourist town, but you can do some gold panning, pretend there.
Well, if there's no prospect of actually getting any gold, I think it's perfect for the Get Rich Nick team.
Yeah. Well, and we should explain to our audience, in case they are not aware, Get Rich Nick is this hilarious podcast where Nick Turner and Nick Vatterott, produced by Lyra, who's on this episode, very cool, just excited you guys are here, they just attempt to do things to get rich very quickly, and they try all those schemes that throughout life you're going, yeah, I want to maybe try that thing.
Yep.
But we get to learn from your guys' mistakes, which is my favorite part about it.
Yeah, just because we fail doesn't mean it's not a good idea.
My particular favorite, I think, is the Rover episode with the whole weird situation with that lady in the apartment.
Yeah, that's one of the weirdest moments of my life. Somebody gave me a dog and then went and did a bunch of heroin and then pretended that we had not been talking. Like, I started texting the same number and they're like, you got the wrong number. And I'm like,
Unbelievable.
You have to take this dog. So then I started knocking on doors in the building and I found the super and they told me her number and I went up there and then I knocked a couple times and then she had another dog that was barking and then she was in her apartment just telling that dog to shush because I was going to know she was in there. And then she finally answered the door and then I was like, here's your dog. And then she said, are you mad at me? I said, yes.
Absolutely.
And I left.
Me, your dad, your neighbor, your building manager, we're all mad at you.
Of course, this dog.
Yeah.
Poor dog.
Yeah.
But Would highly recommend to our
Yes.
listeners. I think you would like it. And there's, I won't say, but there's some pretty interesting Price is Right stuff going on in there as well.
Absolutely.
That we still don't know all the solutions to, which I've appreciated how you've doled it out.
Yeah, well, Jesus, I still don't know. I mean, it's bonkers that I did this in December, and it is nearly July, and I do not have my car.
Is there like no end in sight?
No, there is an end in sight, but there's always an end in sight. Like, I get emails all the time that are like, it's over. And I'm like, hell yeah. They're like, two weeks from now. They're like, well, why did you say it was over? Because it isn't. But I think I got it. I just need to wait for registration to click in, which takes weeks. So I'm just leaving it at the dealership.
Okay.
Because I don't want to just like have it and not be able to sell it. Like,
Yeah.
while
True.
I don't want to screw it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so let's jump into The Lost World, Jurassic Park. One of the rare movie titles that the sequel has the subtitle before the franchise.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is very
never
odd.
thought about that.
Because it's Lost World : Jurassic Park instead of the other way
Are the
around.
other ones like that?
No, then it's Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, it goes real basic, right?
Yeah.
Right after that, they regret this decision.
Well, and then we go to Jurassic World, which is kind of a fun twist on the title.
Sure.
But then
So fun.
they go Jurassic Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and then sometimes you see it listed as like its own series, but it's connected. I don't know. I mean, they are connected, but I don't like
They're
treating
connected,
it like it's
but they
not
are
the same.
separate.
Yes,
They're
True.
separate.
yes,
Yes.
that is true.
Yeah,
We-
and I really want to keep them separate too, because these are not movies that I necessarily need to include in my personal brain Jurassic Park series.
Well, see, for us, we our tagline, we exist to prove people wrong when they say that sequels are never better than the originals. This is something that does not prove our tagline at all, because the series just continually goes down and down and down. But
it's just
the
huge
positive,
diminishing returns.
yes, diminishing returns. The positive of this movie to me is I just love Steven Spielberg, and even when he makes a movie that's not that good, I still really like it
Sure.
Okay.
because he just rules. But I'm ready to be proven wrong. We always go into these pods with an open mind and a possibility of
You
loving
do better
the
than
movie.
I do. It's hard sometimes, like when you go through the Hobbit series.
Yeah, we previously did the Hobbit series. I mean, we did all of Lord of the Rings, and boy, they just really go awry at the end there.
Yeah.
Have you done Dumber and Dumberer yet?
Well, we actually stick to I
Yeah, there's
guess that
4
would
of
work
those.
'cause
Wait,
of the,
no, 3.
No.
Oh, wow. I didn't
Oh.
think about that one. Out
That's
of
a-
all of the franchises people have suggested, that is not one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just I pity the soul that it has to do.
Isn't there also an animated series of that?
I'm not
Dumber?
sure.
Oh man. Well, we kind of stick to a trilogies or more, except on our Patreon, we can get a little loosey goosey with it, and then they have to be like theatrical releases. Mm-hmm. Because there's too many like home video release series that I don't want to get stuck in.
Yeah.
And we're only a little over a year old, so we're still knocking out some of the bigger franchises.
What's the home video? They did a home video movie that's coming out on Quibi. They
No way. Are you
did a
serious?
remake of a movie, and everyone filmed it in their house. Like Tiffany Haddish is in it. There's
What?
like some bigger names in it. I wish I could remember what it was. Well, it's today's news. I'm sure we'll see it.
That sounds.
Yeah. If you're listening to
Interesting.
this, go look it up yourself.
Yeah. But hey, could you two walk us through your experience with your first viewing of The Lost World: Jurassic Park?
In Jurassic Park as a whole, I would
Yeah,
say.
kind of we'd
Well-
love for you to kind of take over.
I'll go first because I think I probably have a shorter answer. I am. My dad took me to go see Jurassic Park in theaters when I was a very, very young child, and I had the time of my life. And my mom was horrified, but everything was fine because I was so happy. So it had a good ending. I have. So we rewatched Lost World recently to discuss it. I had such a limited memory of it. I know I saw it in theaters. I've seen every single Jurassic Park movie in theaters. I've seen Jurassic Park, the original, in theaters multiple times because I've seen it every time they've like re-released it or there was a midnight movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So I really cannot believe how much I did not remember from the second movie this time watching it. But the original classic among kings. And that's my experience.
I want to say that the movie I was just talking about is Princess Bride. They're remaking Princess Bride with Joe Jonas as Carrie Elwes and Sophie Turner as Robin Wright. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have to do a side podcast, Jordan.
That's a Patreon right there. I saw. I'm 8 years older than Lyra, so I vividly remember seeing Lost World in the theater. I was actually in Baltimore. I lived in Richmond, but we were in Baltimore because it was Forensics Nationals. Forensics, if you don't know, is like speech and acting competition in high school.
Cool.
Runs parallel to debate, but very different.
Okay.
And we had a real hot shit team. And so we had like 20 people who were going to nationals from our high school. And then so we were in Baltimore and we went to this theater and it was the biggest movie theater I'd ever seen. If you tell me today, I'd say there were 5,000 seats in that thing. There were probably 400. But it was one of those experiences where you have such a good time. I mean, you're in high school and you're on a trip with 20 of your friends.
Oh yeah,
and
that's great.
It's like whatever the movie was, it was going to be one of my favorite movies of all time. But it was just absolutely one of my favorite movie viewing experiences that I've ever had in my life.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
What was it like rewatching it?
Not as good.
Let's promise.
Bummer.
I guess I probably enjoyed it more that first time.
Sorry to ruin that for you, Nick.
Trump wasn't president in the first
Well, the funny thing about this series, it gets so much flack for, just kind of repeating the same, like they're always trying to reopen the park every time. And the thing that I've seen on Twitter a lot during this whole quarantine is how people are like, dear Jurassic Park, I apologize for thinking that a government wouldn't want to reopen something that kills people. Mm-hmm. And I found that to be all the tragedy of COVID aside, kind of a funny take on the series because you're like, oh yeah.
Very thematic.
It's like not unrealistic anymore to me.
Yeah, they only killed 3 people. That's like how many people die at Disney World every year.
Okay, they don't officially die.
No, that's true. They
property.
They pull them off premises and then pronounce them dead. That is true.
Yeah.
Credit where credit's due. Okay.
Yeah. God love Disney. If it came back today, I'd go.
We watched Assassination Nation last week, and at one point, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's kind of
just made one of them.
Yeah. But
okay.
It's kind of got a Lord of the Flies crescendo of action going on where things just get worse and worse and worse. And it's about like society breaking down. And at one point, Nick turned to me and he was like, this wouldn't happen. This is happening too fast. And then yesterday, somebody sent me a link to a woman coughing on a baby because someone complained that she wasn't wearing a mask, and I thought Assassination Nation is very realistic.
Oh,
if we're popping on babies, I think we would do Lord of the Flies.
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
At least it's not a baby beatdown video.
Yeah. Well, I will hit you with my experience with this movie. So we're a little bit younger than you two. I would have only been
probably,
4
right?
when this movie came out. So I did not see this in theaters.
That's really rude, I just want to say.
And I just remember, I mean, I watched Jurassic Park all the time. It was my first PG-13 movie when I was a kid, and I was just watching it all the time. And then I remember going to someone's house and just seeing that there was a video cassette of The Lost World Jurassic Park and it was like, I gotta see that. There's another one of them. But this is, before IMDb and stuff like that. So it's like, I didn't even know that there was a second one. And it may have been a 2 video
Really?
Maybe? I'm like, in my mind, that might be a false memory, but I'm remembering it being 2 discs and just thinking that's got to be like the Holy Grail.
Wow.
And then I finally watched it and I thought, okay, I like it, I guess. And then, I've watched it a couple more times and, you're going to hear my opinion as we go along on the movie, but that's me on The Lost World.
Yeah, for me, when we watched it on a couple days ago was my first time ever seeing it. So
First time ever seeing it. Be still my heart.
I didn't see Jurassic Park until college, and it wasn't
just the most insane thing to me still.
It's
I
ridiculous.
Can't believe that.
It's just for some reason I just kind of blame my parents in terms of just maybe they didn't care about it. It's not that they didn't want us to watch it, but I think they just forgot that it was a movie. So therefore I never watched it. It was always
bad
just like
parenting.
Because when I watched it in college, I was at my roommate's house in New Hampshire and we were watching it on a laptop, and I was so scared at the T-Rex scene that I had to pause it, and I was like, oh, I just have to go to the bathroom, but I was just like so scared.
Well, I mean, to your credit, the scene is like 45 minutes long.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I actually had the same experience with when I was a kid, I used to rent Ghostbusters at the video store every week. And then one week
she spent over $18,000.
And then one week I went in and they had Ghostbusters 2.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And that was a very big deal.
Just like a surprise at a movie store. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Hey, they made another one of these.
I couldn't imagine like missing out on an announcement of sequels to movies I don't even care about anymore.
Yeah.
But now like back then, especially as a kid, you would see that there was a second one, and you also don't know about the machine of Hollywood money all the time yet. So you're just like, oh, it has to be better because I've already seen the other one 50 times.
Right.
I can't believe. Yeah, that's so funny that you don't know that, but I do know that they've moved the release date for Artemis Fowl 3 times. We get a lot more information now.
Yeah, we really do. That did come out though. Did you guys partake?
Yeah, well, now they just threw it up on streaming. They don't have to have a public bomb. They're very excited about getting to throw that away.
Which is kind of a sweet deal for studios now. They got a place to dump their movies.
Yeah, first but now, Staten Island, King of Staten Island, and now this.
Yeah.
We have not really been watching. It's so much harder for me to be like excited about a new movie coming out on a streaming service. I don't know if you guys experience that, but
we've recently become renters.
Yeah, we've now given ourselves a new term of renters because we've gotten we rented like 5 movies in the last 5 days.
Yeah,
like our window is like the $5.99, $6.99 rental.
Okay.
We watched like Emma, The Trip to Greece,
The Assistant, which Nick fell asleep in.
Oh yeah, there's that. What else? Oh, The Hunt.
Yeah, The Hunt was good. That was fun. That'll have a good sequel, I bet you.
Also, Lost World.
Yeah.
See, we had it on Blu-ray in a Spielberg collector's pack, so we did not have to.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't have to buy it, and I'm not trying to flex, but I am flexing.
But
right
it's
now,
too late.
But I do have
Yeah.
a collectible.
The second pack. I can't imagine it would make the first collector's pack of Spielberg.
Yeah,
Well,
did he ask them to take that one out?
Well, it's a very odd pack because I'm assuming it has something to do with contracts because it has Jurassic Park, it has Always, which is undisputably his worst movie.
Yeah.
1941, Duel, Jaws, Sugarland Express.
Is that E.T.?
It has E.T. and then it has The Lost World, which is kind of weird because it's like he's got like 25 movies and you put a sequel in the
Okay,
like
well,
that's kind of
Yeah,
odd.
I think you got had.
Don't crucify me, but what is Sugarland Express?
That's his first movie.
Yeah, it's his first like
Pre-Duel.
full length. No. So Duel was his first TV movie.
I see.
And this was his first like in theaters like classical release. And it has Goldie Hawn, and I think it involves like kidnapping. It's been
Gene
a long time
Wilder's
since I've
in
seen it. Yeah, Gene Wilder's in it. It's one of his first roles, I think.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I would recommend it.
Okay, well, the renters will rent.
You guys are like Dawson and then the woman who understood like what early film meant to Dawson on Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek was a television show in the 90s.
A little out of my depth on Dawson.
Yeah, Scream creator
you know.
Kevin Williamson created it. And then he stopped being famous. Vampire Diaries. He also did Vampire Diaries.
I want to specify that the genders are reversed. I'm not being sexist.
I didn't assume so. We're good. So let's jump into the production of the movie. I actually don't have that much, as is the case with most of our franchises. The first movie is just front loaded with a ton of info, and then it progressively usually has less. So we're directed by Steven Spielberg. You know him, you love him. It's produced by Gerald R. Mullen, Colin Wilson. You have a screenplay by David Koepp, but it's based on Michael Crichton's novel. As far as I know, it's not really that, it's not super faithful
Similar.
to the novel. Okay. You got John Williams on the music again, which I gotta say, I think he does a pretty excellent job in the movie. If anything is really done excellently,
It's him doing the score again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you say John Williams on music. Like there was a question like, John, I think I'm going to have you do...
yeah.
why don't we have you stick on music for one more?
Yeah. But I thought it was cool because he brings in like more of a like natural sound to the complex score of Jurassic Park. So it's like a play on it, but it doesn't fall into what Star Wars sometimes falls into, where it's kind of just repeating things you've already heard. Even though I love the Star Wars scores, not knocking them, but this one felt like he did bring a pretty fresh perspective to it.
I have never noticed a score of a movie in my life.
Micah's a musician, so he picks up on those
I'm
things more
big
than
into
I do.
scores, but maybe I only noticed it when it was the Jurassic Park theme.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
mean, me
that's
too.
true talent.
Yeah, it's cool because he does more of like a like natural drums and kind of tribal sound.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
He went to Africa
Yeah.
right before this movie.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
He's a
And
real Ludwig Göransson.
Don't worry, guys. I didn't get it either.
Oh no, we know Ludwig. He's the Childish Gambino guy.
Yeah. He did the Black Panther score.
Yeah. And we've covered Black Panther, so we have ranted about Mr. Göransson. We love him.
Yeah, I love him.
And then we have cinematography by, I'm going to try to do this right, Janusz Kaminski, who basically goes on to do like all of the rest of Spielberg's movies for the most part. Minority Report, AI, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, Ready Player One.
The Terminal.
Blah, blah, blah.
None
He's
of
also
which
done
in
Call of the
pack.
Wild. What's that?
None of those are in the pack.
Yeah, no.
No, I had to buy Minority Report on. No, I don't own Minority Report. That's foolish.
No, I thought we owned it and it was like the worst DVD rip we've ever seen.
That was from the library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're big go to the library and quote
my
rent
God.
movies people.
Me too. Check out Canopy. Just talking about it today.
Oh yeah, we got our Canopy set up. Oh yeah.
How long was Canopy fun for you? How many? It's like 6 months tops. For I'm like, I think I've seen all the A24, and now I'm not sure what to do.
I mean, I've only watched like 2 or 3 on it, I think. But one of them was an old Jackie Chan movie, Police Story, which, well, it's a cool movie despite it being a police story.
All right, well, here's how you do Canopy. You go online and use like Ranker or Rotten Tomatoes and find out what the best A24 movies are and watch them.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. Anyone with a library card, you can watch Canopy.
Yep.
Easy. This movie comes out May 23rd, 1997. $73 million budget. Domestically, it makes $229 million, and worldwide, it makes $618.5 million. So that's about $400 million less than Jurassic Park.
Wow.
Little less than $400 million. So it's quite a drop.
Yeah.
It's nominated for.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. Did you?
No, go ahead.
Did you say the Rotten Tomato score? Not yet.
See, I've never been a Rotten Tomatoes guy. I'm always I'm an IMDb Metacritic guy.
Oof.
But I'd love if you want to pull it up, throw those tomatoes at us.
Yeah, I'll pull it up here. Give me 45 minutes.
Okay. I'll hit some more facts while you do it.
Okay.
It's nominated for Best Visual Effects. It's Crichton's, the author, his first sequel, and he was initially resistant to the idea, but then he wrote a novel in 95. Spielberg is announced as director in 95 after Joe Johnston, who is going to go on to direct Jurassic Park 3, had expressed interest in directing this.
Okay.
I almost don't want to say the Rotten Tomato score because it's too low.
What do we got? You got to hit us.
51%.
51%.
And that's also the exact same audience score.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really
down
low.
there a ways. Let's see.
That's an F. In case you were wondering.
Some of it is filmed in Humboldt County, which is right below us. So I had to shout that out to our listeners who are nearby.
Oh yeah, I've been paid in weed in Humboldt County.
And then the original idea was the Barbasol can. Remember in the first movie, the Barbasol can has all the DNA?
Of course.
Why? I don't understand why they didn't do that.
Yeah, so the idea was that was DNA and it was just going to get out and it was going to become
like someone would find it and try and make their own
Okay.
park. But
Okay.
do they do that in Jurassic World?
Seems
Is
like
that the
it
whole
would've
plot of Jurassic
died.
World?
It fell out of his jacket. It rolled away. I don't think that's viable anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Just in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean, those
also-
fossils survived a long time, so.
Yeah, they survived. They're just waiting, hanging out. At the beginning of Lost World, when you see John Hammond's office, he's got an elephant tusk on the desk that really offended me. And now I think it was foreshadowing.
Kevin Smith's Tusk.
No.
Did you guys see Tusk?
Oh,
Yeah.
we have seen Tusk. That's the best prank to pull on people is throwing that movie on.
Micah pulled it on me.
No, you're not going to throw up uncontrollably for an hour.
Yeah, the scene when Justin Long's sitting at the table in the wheelchair and he just says, "I can't feel my legs." It was like it felt so wrong and like scary and gross to me. And we didn't even get to the walrus stuff yet.
I know, it's disgusting. Lyra and I have seen it 7 times. we call it date night.
Oh man.
It's like a rare movie that's. I feel like it kind of is. It's bad, but I cannot help but say that it is a genius movie.
I don't
for
think
my
it's-
personal self.
yeah.
It's too interesting for me to write it off.
Yeah, it stays with me. You know, it's like in the 99th percentile of a movie staying with me.
Also, Tusk is one of my favorite Fleetwood Mac songs.
When is that played in there?
Oh, it plays. Plays in the climax. Don't worry about it.
Also, if we have a boy, it's going to be named Tusk after the movie.
Oh, cool.
Oh boy.
Good luck with that. That's interesting. That's my notes. Jordan, hit us with the actors.
So in past episodes, we had already covered Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore. I think that was the only big two people.
Yeah.
So we have Pete Postlethwaite.
Postlethwaite?
I can't pronounce. Sure.
There we go.
Thank you. So he is the hunter who wanted to get the T-Rex.
Yeah.
He is in Usual Suspects, Inception, The Town, Clash of the Titans. I'm just hitting highlights.
Yeah.
And then we have Vince Vaughn, which like shocked me because I've never seen this movie and I like don't know a single thing about this movie. Crazy to me.
She kept, every time an actor came on, she'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah. It was it's almost in a way made a little worth it that it took me this long to watch it.
Yeah.
So we have Vince Vaughn. He's in The Breakup, Wedding Crashers, Dodgeball, True Detective, The Internship, Zoolander, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And then Arliss Howard, who plays the lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
He's in Full Metal Jacket. He's also in Moneyball, Concussion, and the show Medium.
Wow. Okay.
And then Vanessa Chester, who plays Jeff Goldblum's daughter. She's All That, Malcolm in the Middle, 17 Again, How I Met Your Mother, and then like so many other TV shows.
Yeah, but she's only
dang.
got 12,000 Instagram followers, so she can't be doing that great.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just looked her
Wow.
up.
Oh,
She
man.
was
Maybe
the-
we'll have to have her on.
She was the best friend in Harriet the Spy.
Yes, I did see that too.
Oh, okay.
Yes, which has the girl from Snow Day.
Brittany Snow?
Remember that movie?
I don't remember.
Oh, I
well,
thought-
I remember the movie. I don't remember
Has the
actors in the
girlfriend.
movie.
Okay. Big movie from my childhood. And then Peter Stormare, I don't know if that's how you pronounce
Peter
it.
Stormare,
He is,
yeah.
Yeah, he's in Fargo, Constantine, Armageddon. I guess he's in 22 Jump Street. I don't remember that. And
Oh,
then
I don't remember that either.
he's in John Wick 2, and then Tim and Eric.
I was really racking
Oh, yeah.
my
He's
brain
in a great Tim
with
and Eric
him.
episode.
I couldn't remember.
What was that?
I was really racking my brain with him. It was Fargo that I couldn't place.
Yeah, you're like, what's that
Yeah.
voice
Yeah.
from? Because he doesn't talk.
I know. Every time I see him when he talks, I'm like, you're talking too much.
What was kind of weird is, so I was watching this making of documentary thing on the movie, and Spielberg said, you know the scene where he gets attacked by all the tiny dinosaurs? Mm-hmm. He said that was kind of his like nod and like revenge for him being so evil in Fargo.
What? Really?
Is what Spielberg said, kind of jokingly,
Yeah.
you know. But I thought that
What if
scene
Spielberg
was, like,
really
so-
mad when he watched Fargo and he's like, that piece of shit, that motherfucker,
just-
I'm going to get him.
Like I feel like one of the problems in the movie that's like a little bit of a, it's less of a problem, but I just feel like the movie has, it's very it kind of feels like someone trying to be cool with the way they're just like killing random people in kind of weird ways.
Oh, really? You feel that way?
Like it's just so aggressive the way he's killed.
It's terrifying
and
for
it's,
sure.
And like that one guy who's just running into a store and he gets picked up. I know it is a dinosaur movie. I understand that, but I feel like in Jurassic Park, it was a little more like, oh, the lawyer kind of deserved it, or just to strike fear. And in this one, it's kind of like, isn't that cool? We just killed that guy that was trying to help him get off the trailer.
That's just, there's a lot of parts in this movie that just feel like that's movie making, you know. It's like so like when Peter Stormare jumps over the log and then all you see are the dinosaurs jumping over the log, and you don't see him anymore getting attacked, and then the blood, you know, comes down the stream. That's it's just like, that's a movie. That's a fucking movie. He's not hiding that it's a movie. He's saying this is a movie. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm assuming that you two are not crazy about the movie. I'm getting that sense. Is that
No, it's fine. I mean,
say?
I loved it in the theater. I've seen this movie a bunch. I had it on VHS and I rewatched it. I've seen, the first three a ton of times each. And I really enjoy the Jurassic Park franchise. And as much as I can shit on it, after not having seen it for a while, you grow up. If I haven't seen this movie in a decade, you're like, wow, okay, we've moved on from a lot of this type of movie making. Lyra was offended when they called out his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't.
Right
I just
when
was
she shows up at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I was like, you casted her.
Yeah, when Vince Vaughn was like,
Yes.
oh, I don't see the resemblance.
Yeah. I was like, why we don't need that line. You cast her in that part. It was really weird. It was like a really weird call out. I hated it. I also hated. Can we get? Or am I allowed?
Oh, also we watched Jurassic Park, and like in the first minute of Jurassic Park, they kill a black guy.
Yes.
We actually talked about that on
Yeah.
our Jurassic Park episode. Yeah.
Well, and then in this one, it's like I'm expecting deaths from all angles, but I'm not expecting a dog.
Oh, the dog. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
It was so unnecessary.
Yes. Yeah. So the guy who was trying to save them from the trailer, when he died, I was just like, that's not fair. That guy was like a really good guy and just trying to do his best, and then he just gets split in half by two T-Rex. And then later on in the movie with the dog, like I was just like, you better not kill that dog.
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't like that.
He hid in his house. Leave him alone. You can't see him if he doesn't move.
Yes. Yeah,
But
I didn't like that.
Yeah, and I feel like that happens throughout the movie, and it's just a little like, no, that's not why I like Jurassic Park, to just see people die.
Right.
Like, I like the philosophical quandaries and seeing cool dinosaurs and fun characters. And this movie has the dinosaurs covered. I'll give it that. But
I like to think that they had a scene, like after the T-Rex leaves, you notice that the dog is like hiding under the house or something. And then and they left that in the movie, and then they showed it to test audiences, and the test audiences were like, no, kill the dog.
These are the people that are like, a movie has to be dark. I don't like movies that are not dark.
Yeah,
They're
kill
like,
them all.
cut that dog surviving, please, or else this isn't a real movie.
Yeah,
I guess.
Dogma 95 rules.
Well, let's jump through. Let's start plowing through the plot here.
Okay.
So, movie starts with this family on Isla Sorna, and I was very confused by this family because there's 3 of them, and there's like 8 crew members that are serving them. It's just a little odd to me. Don't know what they do or what's going on. Don't need to.
Yeah.
Just kind of interesting. And then we have the little girl goes off to the side, and she gets attacked by all the little, I forgot what those are called, like
They're little dinosaurs.
little dinos. And to me, I think that's a cool intro to the movie. I like the intro, and that one's not too graphic in terms of like what that makes sense in the Jurassic Park world.
I
to
think
me,
for a movie that's still pretty early on with CGI stuff, and the CGI for the most part, I think still looks pretty good compared for what it was. But I could tell that it's like, oh, it's a kid acting with things that aren't really there.
right?
Well,
That's how it felt.
And it's also like a continuation of the theme of like rich people think this is just for fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, we're gonna go on this tropical picnic, and this is one of our perks of being in the 1%. And it's like, no, this is very dangerous.
And it was that stuff reminds me of like when they say like during the Civil War, like families would take a picnic out to watch the war, watch a battle.
Oh yeah.
It's bonkers. 'Cause they couldn't hit like the guy in front of them with the musket ball. It's like they're not gonna do like a ricochet shot up into the on the hill where the rich family is picnicking.
Right. That's an interesting thought. I haven't thought about it like that.
Well, and so this movie kind of carries over that message of like naturalism versus science, and then also there is that capitalist, like, this doesn't really work, which I like that that's still a theme in the movie. But it does fall into much more like, let's make an action movie, whereas the first movie is not that way. And that's my biggest qualm with it.
Yeah, cinco muertes to capitalism.
Yeah.
That was another thing that Lyra got really mad about. Was that Richard Schiff didn't know what muertes mean.
Oh, yeah.
I just love how all these like absolutely insane experts have to have everything explained to them.
Right.
Now cinco, how?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
So then we cut to remember the mom is screaming, and then it cuts to Jeff Goldblum yawning.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna be okay with that transition 100% of the time in any movie ever.
Yes.
And he's on a subway. We're seeing like some city stuff, which is kind of interesting to see.
I would say that the guy who talks to him on the subway, that actor gave it his all in that scene.
Hey, ain't you the guy that I saws
Yeah,
Yeah.
why was
on
he
the TV?
so angry? What was that guy's backstory?
Yeah, he was so just in his face.
How dare you be that scientist?
I believes is you. I sure as did.
Is it you, Liam Neeson's?
But then we go to Hammond's house.
Yeah.
And, as I've said before, Spielberg is the master of blocking shots, and he does those great one-ers where the camera will just sit there and slowly move around a room, and you don't even really realize it's one shot, but it's like, 60 seconds of actors just acting. And I'm always going to be excited about that. So there's a lot of like the lawyer and Goldblum talking about stuff.
And this is when I feel like my brain just kind of switches off because it's like I'm here to see dinosaurs and people run, and he's talking about chapter 11.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
like it so
okay,
quick.
let's
They're
speed
like,
through it.
but a bunch of people died. Yeah. We covered it up.
Yeah,
Everything's
right.
fine. Everything's fine now.
But see, to me, I thought in a world where sequels don't operate the way they do, what I would love to see is the firm legal drama that ensues after Jurassic Park as the sequel to Jurassic Park. Like John Grisham novel. That's what that
You
is
want
my
this
like
to play out like The Wire?
yeah.
Every season is just a new version of the Fallout.
Yeah, just a slow burn, like 2.5 legal drama.
see. Yeah,
This
they take
young prosecutor.
They take the velociraptors to the Cayman Islands and then push them off cliffs. I watched The Firm recently, so I got a pretty specific.
It's been a while for me, so I'm just gonna assume that you mean that I forgot that there are velociraptors in that movie. Moving on. But so we find out about like the non-disclosure agreement. That's some thrilling stuff for me. I'm all about hearing about non-disclosure
NDAs.
cover-ups. See, that's why I'm telling you, as I'm older, I want the sequel to be no dinos, all legal drama.
Elizabeth Warren would get rid of those.
Yeah.
But then we go to set up the plot. It's like there was a family there. We got to have you guys go over there and just study some dinosaurs. So they head over there. We find Jeff Goldblum has a daughter. They point out stuff that we don't need them to point out. We get there. There's the five muertos, or the cinco muertos. And for those of you who don't know what that means the 5 deaths.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that's not super common to understand. And then we're on the island. And it's supposed to just be, isn't it just set up as it's scientific again?
Yeah. I mean,
that's
well,
all
yeah,
there
like
is. There's no
go
real
ahead.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
they go there because Hammond so he has Jurassic Park, but then he's like, I have a secret other one over here. Yes, that's very convenient for a movie. So go to this one where all these other dinosaurs are roaming free. So I guess that's it.
Right, that's where they were
yeah.
breeding them, is what
I
he
believe
said.
they did
Okay.
this. They used this technique in the movie Contact as well, where they
Oh, I haven't
built that
seen
like
Contact.
spaceship thing, and then it blew up, and they were like, Well, the U.S. government is never about saving money, so instead of building one, we built two. That's right. Go do it again. And then it works.
Cool. But then one of the funniest things about this scene, and I do want to say up front, we're kind of, we're analyzing, we're nitpicking a little bit. I would say I like this movie. I don't love it, and I do have some huge problems with it. But I want to front load that. To me, it's a solid 6 out of 10, whereas Jurassic Park is a 10 out of 10. So that's kind of where I stand on it. But it is very funny that we meet Sarah, who is played by Julianne Moore, and she proceeds to go up to this dinosaur and pet it, and she's taking all these pictures and stuff like that. And then in the following scene, she talks about how they need to make sure that they don't touch anything, they're here to observe and not make any impact on the environment.
Well, she just didn't want Vince Vaughn to smoke.
Yeah.
That's maybe that's the move. Next time, if you are really anti-smoking, you just need to...
You're like, hey, look, I'm a traveler from the future, and if you smoke that cigarette, I may never get back home.
When he did take out the cigarette, it just made me think of Alien Covenant, when that guy's just smoking a cigar on an alien planet. And it's just that makes no sense. Yeah. I'm really glad
he's from Greenpeace, so he gets it.
Sure.
He knows when it's appropriate to smoke and when it's not. So, okay, where do we go from here? Sarah talks about how they shouldn't interact. Oh, then this is when the engine, the company engine, all the helicopters come in and the hunters drop down. And man, that hunter, what is his name again? Pete Rosen?
Peter Stormare, and then there's Pete Postlethwaite.
Postlethwaite. That guy just has a face. I love that guy.
Loved his
he
intro.
rules. And he's a little much for the movie, but I'm all on board every time he's on screen. He's just too captivating to me. And
he's the priest in Romeo and Juliet, and that's another big moment for me in high school. On the day of my ring ceremony, I skipped it because I had won tickets on the radio to go see an early premiere of Romeo and Juliet.
You're talking like the Leonardo DiCaprio, Baz Luhrmann?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's actually called William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
I had a girl in high school who corrected me and said it's Romeo plus Juliet.
Yeah, come on. Got to get that plus in there. Just like every time you say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you have to say Once Upon a Time, period, in Hollywood. That's how you have to say it, or else no one will think that you know anything about movies.
I'm writing this down.
So the hunters arrive. We have the sequence where they're kind of like, look, we can do special effects now.
Yeah. So this is what I think about this. When they introduce the hunters and stuff, it's just there are so many people in this movie.
Yeah.
And there's just so much that I'm supposed to care about, maybe. And I feel like what I would have done is have the Jeff Goldblum team just go in with this hunting team, and they the Jeff Goldblum team doesn't know what that hunting team is doing.
Right.
Does that make sense? It just is a lot.
Right.
To me.
It did seem like the hunting team came and there were 150 of them. Why were there so many of them?
I would say when it comes to the CGI, they were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't think about whether or not they should. And I did not write that down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Wow. I mean, that's the joke about the series, though. It's so funny because it really is the classic case of you make the first movie and then you never touch it again. I do like we'll see about when we rewatch it, because again, I like to go in fresh every time. But I do like the idea of them actually making a park one day, but I'm not so certain that was executed perfectly.
That park was so small.
In Jurassic World, I like the basic idea of they opened a park, but I don't even remember most of that movie, so I gotta go fresh. But Jurassic Park 2 and 3 are kind of dinosaurs, we gotta stop them again, just like we did in the first movie. And then Jurassic World kind of turns into that, unfortunately.
I
anyway.
still don't understand. Like, I'm sure they could make it work. Like, there's no reason that they haven't built a Jurassic Park, and quite frankly, it makes me furious. Figure it out.
Oh, yeah,
the
in real
amber's
life.
there.
Yeah, we got that dinosaur DNA.
Hey, SeaWorld's going great.
Yeah, imagine how well people would take care of dinosaurs.
Hey, look, the dinosaurs weren't anywhere. Okay, we made them. We built them. We used them. Sorry.
Well, yeah, there is that guy that says something.
He said we
along that
created
effect.
them, so we do what we want.
Yeah.
So I
And-
guess that's it.
Yeah.
And then, whenever that park opens, flash forward 40 years, and there's going to be like a Joe Exotic of like pterodactyls or something like that.
Yeah.
And that whole series, the Pterodactyl King, in our, alternate universe.
Yeah, well, you're really not talking us out of it.
Joe prehistoric.
Oh, we already got it.
Yes. And not as good as your last one, but very good.
Look, I tried to go to bed, but
So we have all of that. They're capturing dinosaurs. There is the cool like set where the T-Rex has its nest, which I like.
Yeah.
I like that set a lot. That was pretty cool. And the sound editor said that they were using walrus noises for all the like whistling
Tusk!
sounds of like dinosaurs in the distance that are like woo.
Oh, okay. So it brings it back to Tusk. Cool.
Yeah, we're bringing this episode around. And the hunter is like, I gotta hunt a T-Rex. It's for my own reasons. I just gotta get.
What
a
was
buck.
that about? Just write a reason. Was that like the screenwriter was like just lazy? And why does he want one so bad? Don't worry about it.
It's pretty easy to just say like he just wants to hunt the most dangerous animal.
Yeah, it's like you don't need an excuse. There's hunters. That seems like a good one.
Yeah. But then, they capture the dinosaurs, and I'm still, I would say, even on a rewatch, I'm still like pretty into the movie at this point. It's clearly not like as good as the original, but I'm tracking with it, and I'm like, this is fun. I'm enjoying seeing these cool dinos. And I'm a sucker for any animatronic. Anytime an animatronic shows up,
Yeah.
I'm like drooling. But they have them. The hunters put them in their camp, and they have them caged. And then our heroes decide to come down and break them all out during this live feed Zoom corporate meeting that's describing the park that they're going to open in San Diego. And when they do that, there's a pretty crazy shot where that Triceratops runs through, like
Yeah.
it's a real animatronic and plows through the tent.
Oh, that was real?
Yeah, there's the full body shots. It is CG.
Yeah.
But all of the stuff where you're just seeing its head and stuff, that's all animatronic. That's Stan Winston, and I love that.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be okay with that.
Yeah, we were too preoccupied in that moment, just thinking about how Vince Vaughn was like, Julianne Moore was like, what are we going to do? It's like, there's all these guys. And then Vince Vaughn's like, yeah, that's why Hammond sent me. It's like, what
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about? You have not set up your character well enough that you are now
No,
Rambo.
no. And I don't know, do you guys, I feel like Vince Vaughn just disappeared.
he did.
Yeah, what
What happened to his character?
Yeah, we had a conversation about whether he died or not, and we had to look it up to see that he did not.
Okay.
He just went on his merry way.
Well, it just doesn't mention. I looked up. I mean, I looked at it on various websites. I had a full breakdown of every character who dies in Lost World, and Nick was not on it.
Huh. Yeah, it's weird too, because Spielberg is very, people criticize him for this, and I don't, but he likes to like really wrap things up in a bow and like complete a story. And not leaving loose ends and stuff like that. So it's very weird that in this movie there's an entire character that we just don't. They show up in San Diego and you don't see him again.
Yeah,
I guess
I assume he's fine. He's probably got another beat in Iraq. He's off on
Yep.
another story.
Well, like you were saying though, he's the Rambo type. He knows how to open locks with keys. So that's why John Hammond brought him along.
Smart.
Yeah, which that is like a scientist. They don't have the dexterity in their fingers to twist those locks. So you got to bring in the big guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a smoker. He probably just couldn't keep up with them and sat down on a stump and just.
And then they just forgot about him.
Yeah.
But now let's get to the trailer scene where they have the. I know, listener. I'm sure you've seen the movie, so we're skipping stuff, of course. But they have the baby T-Rex, which again, real animatronic,
Pretty
and that
crazy.
thing looks fantastic. That thing is crazy.
Yeah.
They bring it into the trailer. Sarah's trying to fix the broken leg. And then you have the build up to like the T-Rex are coming.
That part is pretty terrifying.
I think it's a pretty good sequence. It is funny though, because they're like, what's better than one T-Rex in a sequel? How about 2 T-Rexes?
Different ages.
But it is pretty effective when they look out the one window and then they turn and look out the other, and you're like, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah. And not only that, the trailer just eventually just dangling off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long scene, I have to say.
I think it's too long. Otherwise, I think it'd be like right up there for me with like some of his best directed stuff. But the sequence, I feel, is like it overstays its welcome a little bit.
It's just, I feel like the intro stuff just took so long. And then we finally get to the island, and then this part takes so long, it's exhausting. And then they finally meet up with the hunter people, and then there's a whole other, like 2 more action sequences. And then we get to San Diego, and I'm just thinking, when is this movie ending?
Right.
Because it really just never feels like it's like getting there.
There's no way to watch this movie and not think, what the fuck are we doing in San Diego?
Yeah. Well, and there's also no way to think, oh, okay, Spielberg just wanted to do a Godzilla moment.
Yeah.
That's why this is here. Because if I remember right, he threw out the original ending and added that on while they were filming. Because he was like, it'd be cooler if he went, yeah.
Oh, like the original Little Shop of Horrors ending?
He just was like, no, let's take him to San Diego. I like the old movies and I wanna do that. Which I get the temptation. You give me $73 million, I'm probably gonna want to recreate some stuff that I really like. But
Doesn't mean you should.
doesn't mean you should, which is again the thesis of the series.
Well, if you want, we could do Princess Bride again.
So if that movie comes out on Quibi, it's just watching it vertically on your phone?
Well, it's not watching it. It would be on Quibi. How would you watch it?
Right.
What are you looking at, Quibi?
Baffling.
Also, so yeah, because I've seen a video of someone watching a movie and they film them vertically, which is not super fun to watch. And then also, would it mean that it's in bite-sized chunks? Because that's the whole thing.
I think it would. Yeah, probably. Although I don't know. I mean, Quibi was a disaster, so they're probably making a lot of left turns. I mean, their biggest thing was that it was definitely not going to be able to be watched on the television, and now it is. Like they're releasing one for, TV apps in a month or so, whatever, and then not front, portrait, landscape. I'm sure it's all out the window.
Well, I'm really glad that you know so much about Quibi. I think it's become sort of everyone's tiny little obsession during quarantine. When they want to break from the badness, it's like, let's see how Quibi's doing.
I have not downloaded Quibi. Quibi hangs over Los Angeles like a cloud because they just had so much money and they were just dropping it in the most random places. I'm not on any Quibi thing, but I did almost do a Punked episode. But at the last minute, what are those guys? The twins, the Dolan twins, they backed out. So my bit got scrapped. I'm not getting any Quibi money, which is why I'm so against it.
Oh, and I think you are justified in being that way.
Thank you. Finally.
And your whole thing, I mean, with your podcast and everything, is you want to sell out. That's your thing.
Please,
Right? Am I correct
can
in
be
saying that?
bought. Yes, any amount of money to do nearly anything. Or mostly stop doing stuff. I don't. There's nothing I'm married to.
Before Get Rich Nick, we had a Netflix podcast, and the goal was to get Netflix to pay us to stop making it.
Yeah, it's like, you want us to stop shitting on your shows? You give me some money, I'll stop doing
No
this.
way.
Yeah, but
Is this still out there?
I mean, it's still up, but we haven't made a new episode. We stopped at the end of last year. It was me and Will Miles.
Well, now I know what to do when I get caught up every week on all my other podcasts.
There you go. Go back and see what was going on in 2019 on Netflix.
So we have the vehicle thing. Then everyone's trying to just mad rush get off the island. And they're
That I do say another terrifying scene for me is when they're in the waterfall, and that guy
that actually scared me. I was leaning back on my couch, clutching my chest because that was pretty freaking scary.
He not only has the snake going into his shirt, but he then gets eaten by a T-Rex. That was scary.
And it really pops out of that waterfall. I mean,
The red, yeah.
The what?
The red? There's blood in the waterfall?
No, I'm just saying when the T-Rex pops out, that is so scary, and it can just barely not reach them.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, okay, you got me back, movie. I'm on board.
But
Here we go.
there is the blood in the waterfall when he eats that guy by the arm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, again, like the amount of blood you would have needed to change the color of the waterfall is
Right.
from much more than one guy's arm. But that's movie making.
That's movie
that's
making.
That's a movie, baby.
I mean, I got to admit, though, if I'm on set, there's no way I'm resisting that. I mean, how could you not?
To just put
Someone's
buckets of blood?
like, we got the blood, Spielberg. What do you want us to do? You got to just go with it. That's what I would have done.
So it sounds like you'll do just about anything. Just for fun in a movie.
Well, if someone gives me $73 million, I'm probably going to make a lot of the same mistakes that this movie makes because I could see how fun it would be to make this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, it's just more dinosaurs. How are people not going to love it? And you're just like, yeah, you're like a kid in a candy shop.
I can't wait to see who you hire to help you make this movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping they fire who's ever directing Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Dominion, and then I'm gonna wrap the series up in a nice little bow as my first directorial acting. Any credit that I have, I'll be taking over one of the world's biggest franchises.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I think maybe we'll add Palpatine into the mix and have a crossover.
Whoa.
Yeah. You got to add Palpatine to any last entry of a series. That's the new rule.
Sure. Why not? Why not? If you have the money, what's stopping you?
There's also, so in this sequence, then there's the Velociraptor sequence where they're attacking Goldblum and Sarah, and his daughter does the gymnastics sequence. Do you guys remember that?
Oh yeah, that was a big hit at our house.
That's just, and he even, it's bad enough that she does it, but then he even goes, they cut you from the team?
She does so much extra stuff.
Well, yeah, and then you remember when Vince Vaughn was like, wow, I don't see the resemblance to your skills, Goldblum.
Yeah. Misstep there. Miss swing there, actually.
Sure.
And then I guess we're already at San Diego. Am I right? Am I missing anything that you two would like to talk about in that first 2 hours?
No, San Diego's that's where the meat is.
Okay, well,
The meat of that dog.
please take over and tell us. You walk us through the San Diego.
Okay, well
I would love to hear
they
this.
delicately enter San Diego by crashing into the pier. I guess the T-Rex had gotten out and caused some hell on the boat, and then he started driving it, and T-Rexes can't drive.
Well, it is a little bit confusing because something has previously happened where the captain is dead, but the T-Rex is still contained.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he's laying there dead, keeping him contained.
Actually, I know the answer to this question,
Great.
Lyra. That's movie making.
That's a movie.
Oh, Mr. Spielberg. If I have 30 seconds with Steven Spielberg.
How did it drive the ship and lock itself in the storage container?
Right, this movie
They
is
got those
canceled.
tiny arms.
Then there's a bunch of driving around and racing around and, destruction happening, eating dogs, scaring people. That's about it.
It is really. It is
Very
a lot
true.
of just destruction.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like you said. It was just his Godzilla stepping on stuff.
Which, it reminded me of Jurassic World, which I didn't love.
Yeah.
It was like a lot. I almost felt like I was like watching it
they
again.
just killed so many people, like regular people.
Yeah.
Right.
A bus
You remember
driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and in Jurassic World, when you bring up that point, I remember there's that scene where the pterodactyl comes down and like takes the Bryce Dallas Howard's assistant away, and it like chomps at it. Then it throws it to another one, and then I think it throws it to a third one, and then she gets like thrown in water, and then the Mosasaurus comes up and eats her, and you're just like, oh my gosh, did she didn't seem that bad. She just was doing a good job. Why did you have to aggressively murder her like that?
She didn't keep her high heels on.
Oh, that is a big thing. Yeah. Do you remember the high heels, Jordan?
No.
Oh, there's a very specific
Scandal.
shot of Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, they even do a close-up of her heels as she's running away from the T-Rex with a flare.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, I remember nothing about that movie.
and I think there's even
It's all
slow
new to me.
motion, like, as she's landing each step. We're gonna get to it. We will
Yeah,
get-
you'll get to it.
That's 2
Yeah.
weeks. We don't want to spoil everything
Sorry.
for the audience.
Yeah, you guys got
I'd
a
say
hell
it-
of a month coming up.
But then
really do.
Jeff Goldblum thinks about how much he disappointed his daughter, and they realize that these T-Rexes are better parents. So they use the baby T-Rex to lure them back into their ship hull.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
I think
No.
that's it. They aggressively murder the lawyer, who's kind of one of the first people that really kind of deserves a murder, I think.
Yeah.
But even him,
But he's like the bad guy.
Yeah,
So you have to
yeah.
save him.
There's so many bad guys in this movie.
Yeah.
He
What
does
happened
it.
to the
Oh.
what, the hunter guy?
he
He and Vince
did
Vaughn
happen
are
to
hanging
him?
out.
Apparently.
I think they did show him though. I just can't remember.
I don't know why
Didn't he
they.
get killed?
I don't know why that the younger Hammond is so vilified. I mean, the older Hammond, none of this would have happened if he wasn't such a megalomaniac wanting to recreate
Right.
dinosaurs. I mean, he's the baddest one of all. They shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Is that,
I have nothing to say. You're right.
is that too much of a hot take?
I think it was a bad idea.
No, so I want to throw this. So I've already pitched that I want the legal drama. Okay, we already know that I want that. But let's set that aside. When I saw the ship coming in and it crashes in, I know we were kind of making fun of it a little bit, but I kind of thought this would have been kind of an interesting intro to the movie, and the movie is like a dinosaur out there. And I know
in San Diego.
yeah, because it feels tacked on in this movie. But if like the opening of the movie is like, hey, that ship's coming in, it crashes, well, pretend that somehow the storage thing actually makes sense this time, and then the T-Rex gets out. That could be a pretty interesting movie.
It would be-
Although it is Godzilla. That's the
It's
problem.
Godzilla, but it would at least be, the first movie has so much exposition, which I get, and they do it in a really good way. And this movie, it's just so much more exposition again. And it might be more interesting for a sequel where it starts just like that. And
Yeah.
throughout the movie, they're getting all the exposition.
Right.
Yeah,
Just a thought.
all we can agree on for sure is that they should not have gone to San Diego.
Yeah. It's like I said, Spielberg making a bad movie, still a pretty good movie for the most part. So it still looks fantastic, and he still is just a master at directing. And if you guys disagree with that, you're actually legally appearing on the podcast, not allowed to say that you don't like Spielberg.
No worries. No, I wake up every morning and I pray he doesn't get me too'd.
That would, oh man, I don't even want to think about that. I hope, yeah, I pray the same thing.
You won't have to. I'm doing all the thinking for society.
But yeah, that's the movie. I mean,
it's kind of, I mean, it's like, what is there to say because it's the same movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Nobody dressed up like all the Goonies characters, so we missed out on that. Did you guys cover that in the last one?
Wait, what?
Wayne.
I thought you were just making a joke there.
No, this was like discovered recently. It was like, yeah. He dresses up and he has 3 different outfits in the movie, and each of them are from a different Goonie.
Wait, which person?
Wayne Knight, the fat guy who lost the Barbasol.
Are you
Whoa.
serious?
Yeah. So you can look
man.
at, I mean, just Google it right now, and there's people who have done side by sides.
Yeah, let me pull that up. Apologize for the radio silence, but I'll edit it out. So
No, this is, people are riveted. I don't think they would even notice the silence. Could you imagine how disappointed they're going to be when you find out I made it all up?
no way.
No, it's real.
That rules.
Oh yeah, do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Is that I mean, I'm sure. Has anyone from production been like, yeah, that was intentional, or it's still just like, we know you did it?
I don't know, but it looks close. I mean, it's like, I don't have any questions after you look at the side by sides. You're
right.
like, they're definitely doing it. That is not an accident.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a Spielberg produced movie, so
Yeah.
it's like he's attached to that material.
Yeah.
Wonder if there are other things that he's been involved in that have similar things. Like if there's a third movie you can tack onto this.
Well, yeah.
Of Jurassic Park?
Of Jurassic Park, Goonies, same costume. If he has a third movie that he was involved in
Oh.
that has similar costumes.
I guess we have to watch all of everything that he's
yeah,
ever been
there's
a part
just
of.
like, if anyone's dressed up like a male character, that's an ode to Newman.
But you know, he does have him and George Lucas, you know, they're buds, and there's like stuff and symbols and stuff like that are in you know, the temple, or not the Temple of Doom, but like Raiders of the Lost Ark, like C-3PO and R2-D2 are like in hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
And then in, you know, Solo, there was the idol from you know, so they do like a thing back and forth because they're
What a fun
buddies,
thing for friends.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I like the movie. I don't love the movie. And if it was not directed by Spielberg, I don't think I would care too much about it. But I just like Spielberg, as has been abundantly clear, and I don't need to say any more.
This one just makes me wish I was watching the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it's a fun, you know, it's a fun trilogy. Yeah, if you were just taking the second and third ones on their own merit, I'm not sure you would be talking about it on a podcast. But as a trilogy,
Sure.
it's so much fun still.
Yeah. And Jordan has not seen Jurassic Park 3, so that's going to be kind of interesting for her.
I guess there's a third island.
I think it's a third island, right?
We've done it again.
We've done it again. Yeah, do you two have anything
I don't
else
think
on the
it's
movie?
a third island. I think they might go back to the first island or something.
Oh,
Or
really?
go back to this island. I don't think there's 3 islands.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
hope it's
Yeah,
not a third one.
it has been. Yeah,
But you know what? In that development meeting, they said, "Who cares?"
True.
they're like, hey, why don't we just not mention it?
They won't
But yeah,
remember.
do you two want to say anything else about the movie or even the franchise? Because even though you won't be with us for the rest of the episode, so if you want to have a couple of points about anything else, we'd love to hear it.
No, I mean, as far as the franchise goes, I hate Lost World so much.
Or Jurassic World or Lost World?
I mean, sorry, Jurassic World.
Okay.
And you know, I don't know why it's like it elicits so much from me. I just I guess I was just mad they made it.
Sure.
And I haven't gone back and watched it again, and I didn't watch the one that came after it. But
the one that came after Nick. Oh my goodness.
is that what I really need to see?
Well, it depends. I just went and saw the movie without Jordan, and when I came home, I think I saw it at like 10, and she had work in the morning, and I think I kept her up for like an hour just ranting about the movie.
Yeah, it's true.
And walking her through everything and how like it was hurting my brain so much, like trying to process what I saw, because they take all the worst parts of Lost World and they make it the plot of Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, it's also the evolution. The evolution of Chris Pratt is like is sad. you know, from like a really funny guy that I really liked to just a glass of milk.
Yeah, and the Jurassic World is like what hits that the hardest.
Also,
for sure.
His new wife, her dad was like America's biggest action star.
Yeah.
And then she married America's biggest action star, and I can't be a party to this.
I didn't even think of.
He refused
that.
to go to the wedding.
Oh, you didn't go? Oh man,
no, not until she marries a loser.
Because we could have maybe met you then if you'd have gone.
Oh yeah, you went.
Yeah, we flew down. We have a lot of Hollywood connections up here in Medford, Oregon.
Sure. Well, if there's anyone I can send my script to, please let me know.
I'll pass it along to Spielberg.
Okay, thanks.
But what about you, Lyra?
Yeah, I don't know. Jurassic Park's just, like I said, one of the best movies of all time. I actually like Jurassic Park 3 more than Lost World.
Okay.
Oh, that's good to know.
That one I do fully remember going to see in theaters with my cousin and having a great time. And so I think that's probably why I like it more. But I don't know. Yeah, very similar. Do not like Jurassic World. Didn't see the sequel to that. I wish that we could really understand Jurassic Park better in order to make more. I think there's like a misunderstanding in the world of people who make similar movies of what made Jurassic Park so great.
Oh, you're so right.
It's not stupid. It's not a stupid idea.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No. There's like an alternate world where we have like 3 perfect Jurassic Park movies.
They're not just like
build
throwing
upon.
shit against the wall in Jurassic Park. They're like, it's actually, it all makes sense, and it's like pop psychology made fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good. And I don't think that they ever recreated it.
No. Do you have any ideas of like what you would imagine could make it work or anything like that?
Well, I haven't really thought about it.
Oh, that's okay.
But if you want to give me $73 million, I will think about it.
The point is, folks, if you're listening and you have access to $73 million, you have 4 creative minds that could really put something together. So contact us, Micah@gmail.com.
Yeah, or if you just want to spend $70 million, I'll do it by myself.
Yeah, each of us just get one. I mean, that's fine. I
take it.
Yeah.
I'll make it work.
Well, thank you guys
so much
for being on. This was super fun, and it was really nice to meet you both.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. It's always nice to go on a double date.
Yeah. I know this is like the only double date you can have right now.
True. I know we mentioned what your guys' credits, but if there's anything you guys would like to plug.
Oh yeah.
Lyra, do you want to plug anything else? I think we plugged Get Rich Nick pretty hard.
Yeah. I don't know. Check out Crooked Media. Just in general, Crooked Media. Oh, listen to Wind of Change. Wind of Change is a narrative docu-series about a reporter investigating whether or not the 80s metal ballad Wind of Change was actually written by the CIA in order to spread democracy.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. There's spies, there's, Mission Impossible style face masks. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Those are the two. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much.
And then also for us, you listeners know this, but go to patreon.com/Micah McCaw and you can sign up. I think this will be we're in July now, we'll be at the end of July when this comes out. And I should have a exclusive Patreon song out, and we will have our Finding Dory MPU episode out. So you could check those out. And go give my album Imbalances another listen. It's been out for a little bit. Give it another listen.
You got it.
Jordan. Anything for you, Jordan?
Not presently. I have some potential art prints in the works, but I'll make an official thing maybe in the next episode.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week when we tackle Jurassic Park 3.
All right, bye.
Bye.